A wee dram, surely the perfect tonic to pandemic woes? You might think so, but for Scotland's world-famous whisky industry, it's been a torrid 12 months. Scotch shipments plunged by almost a quarter in 2020, lumping distilleries with an eye-watering £1.1 billion $1.55 billion in lost sales as exports hit a decade low. COVID-19 can account for much of the shortfall. Hospitality closures and travel restrictions have battered booze businesses worldwide. But dig a little deeper, and it's clear Scotland's whisky sector is shrinking in the face of more than one external threat. A raft of punitive U.S. tariffs is chief among the industry's problems. Imposed in late 2019 amid an escalating transatlantic trade war, Washington's 25% duty on single malts has slashed producers' profits in America, traditionally the sector's most lucrative market. With the arrival of President Joe Biden, less commercially belligerent than his predecessor, there was optimism that the levy might be lifted. Those hopes were dashed recently, when the White House ruled out revisiting the root cause of the trade spat, unfair aerospace subsidies granted by UK and European officials, anytime soon. More bad news has come in the shape of Brexit. Though Britain's EU departure hasn't thrown up any fresh tariffs, it has landed exporters with a bureaucratic nightmare of paperwork and border checks, all of which cost time and money. Caught between these implacable forces, Scotch producers big and small are withering on the vine. Those with reserves enough to ride out the storm might survive with only a few cutbacks, but for the country's provincial distilleries, who make some of the most unique, globally coveted whiskies, the threat is truly existential. Their demise would be disastrous for Scotland's rural economy. Scotch-enchanted tourists flock to far-flung distillery towns, filling local coffers and creating jobs. Complex whisky supply chains sustain other sectors, too. Barley growers, malters, buyers, and holiers all play an important role. That's why the industry is demanding action at the very top. Boris Johnson's government must resolve its commercial differences with America, whisky bosses say, and work to smooth the passage of goods destined for Europe. Domestic duties on spirits should also be cut, they argue, to offset the year's losses. If officials in London fail to act, the political fallout could be immense. Whisky is Scotland's biggest export, and holds a preeminent place in the nation's cultural identity. At a time of mounting support for Scottish independence, UK ministers would do well to bear that in mind.